Head coach Paul Colontino joining me coming off a series split in the CHA curtain raiser against Mercyhurst this past weekend. And the beat goes on in conference play this weekend. It's Lindenwood coming to the RMU Island Sports Center for a 3:05 game on Friday and a 1:05 p.m. game on Saturday. Certainly a big win and a great way to cap off the past series in enemy territory on Saturday. And if you look back to kind of the recent history of the rivalry, the games that Robert Morris has prevailed in have been very, very close, very, come down to a play here, a play there. Saturday wasn't that at all. You guys came out, took it to them, and ended up winning very comfortably. What did the team do particularly well that led to that?
It is like you say, a lot of our conference games and a lot of our matchups with Mercyhurst can and often are decided by maybe a goal or a play. Saturday's game, a little bit different. A 5-1 victory, and you wish you had all the answers for you. Hey, we did this, we did that, but I think in short, it was just a little more thoroughness and a little bit more accountability for not only our forward lines, but our D to find a way to contribute and contribute in terms of goals and assists. So I think people took that to heart. We had production from 3 lines, all 3 lines, which we pretty much rolled that game. We had D popping in for a goal, which was fantastic. So I think with that, it really is just the accountability and the understanding that when everybody finds a way to contribute, life's just a little easier. There's the old adage, 90% of the work gets done by 10% of the people. And we want all the work getting done by all the people, where everybody's finding a way to contribute offensively, defensively, between the pipes. Everybody's doing their share, because when you have that, you get results like we had on Saturday. You can't guarantee those results every weekend, but to the same extent, when it comes together, that's what you set yourself up for. When everybody contributes, you have the potential to do that.
And it was very evident. It was just start to finish a really, really solid team win. Debatably the best team win of the young season to this point. And it was a good day for special teams as well. Power play, penalty kill, and I feel like in this particular series, the team maybe got an abject lesson in what can happen when you don't win the special teams battle, and also what can happen when you do win the special teams battle, as was evidenced on Saturday. Just how do you feel about where you stand with that group as you round out the first month of regular season play?
You know what? We're feeling good about the progress that we're making. Without a doubt, we're cleaning up and fixing areas on a steady basis, which as a coaching staff we're very pleased with. We've seen a lot of maturity from our players when we're trying to implement new things into our game to make our lives easier, to make our game a little stronger, whether it's offensively, whether it's breakouts. We're given new tactics, new systems, new things that we can do that we know will help us. And to our players' credit, we've seen phenomenal maturity with that conscious effort to implement it. So when we are able to implement it, we have great success. So we're going to keep doing our job as a coaching staff here, trying to find new ways. And again, our players are just doing a phenomenal job of absorbing what they're seeing in games and what we're seeing in games, and then applying them. And when you do that, you'll continue to get better.
And looking individually at a player like J.C. Gebhardt, for example, she had another big game Saturday, and she's in the bigger picture, in the national scoring race, making a nice case for herself early on. I don't know that I've seen a player just get more determined, borderline angry maybe in the heat of a game than Gebhardt. But kidding aside, I mean, it seems to me that when Brittany graduated, she really grabbed the reins and is just absolutely running with it. Do you see that as well?
Without a doubt, yeah. She is a fierce competitor. She loves to compete. She literally pours 100% of her mind, body, and soul into every shift, in the sense that when she's out there, there is no in between. She's a fierce, fierce competitor. Like you say, with Britt leaving, she's found a way to say up her game or kind of fill a different void. And when you do that and you have her contributing the way she's doing, players see it. And so not only is she productive in herself on the ice, but also she's a fantastic role model for a lot of our forwards to see game in, game out, practice, drill by drill, the type of competitiveness, the type of urgency, and the type of consistency that one must have to be successful at her level.
And speaking of the forwards, I mean, just how gratifying is it when a player like Sarah Caranta, who does all the things you talk about and puts in the work that you talk about, but maybe doesn't always get rewarded for it statistically, is able to put one in, and it ends up being such a big play for her team in that spot?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. Obviously Sarah's been working extremely hard over the past couple years. This year, no different. She's getting some opportunities, and to see her, Barry on Saturday's game was just fantastic. Because again, you talk about deserving, you talk about players who've worked hard, getting rewarded, all those things, and she's one of those players that consistently works hard. And to see her, Barry, absolutely fantastic. Couldn't happen to a better player in a better game.
Yeah, we love that depth scoring, and hopefully we get a lot more of it this weekend. And finally, to the point of this weekend, Lindenwood again is going to be providing the competition. Not necessarily the cachet of Mercyhurst at this point, but a conference opponent, a diligent conference opponent. What is the game plan for this weekend?
You know what? The game plan is to take care of business in terms of controlling what we can control. We prepare for each opponent the same. We want to make sure that we're on top of our game first and foremost. System-wise, we're competing in both ends. Special teams, we're solid, in the offensive zone and the defensive zone. I think when we do that, that becomes step one, in the sense that we want to put ourselves in a position to be successful. So you take care of systems, you take care of what you're doing. That's step one. It puts us on the right track. Step two becomes the accountability factor, where we have literally every player on our roster ready to contribute, ready to be a part of things. We always talk about 1 shift, 10 shifts. Every single play when it comes to conference play matters. 1 shift here, it makes a difference. We've seen it with RPI. 1 shift here, hey, it was a 1-goal game. Yep. That became the difference. With conference play, no difference. And most of the time, on another level. Just because it's conference play, and we've talked about the small league, 6 teams. We all know each other like the back of our hand. Those shifts, those plays become huge. So accountability and just being prepared.
Familiarity does indeed breed contempt. There's absolutely no question about that. Well, hopefully the contempt is channeled, as it were, into 4 points this weekend. It's going to be an action-packed weekend here on the island, with the women in action 3:05 Friday, 1:05 Saturday. The men in action, obviously, against RIT against 7 o'clock at 7 o'clock, on Friday and Saturday. Come down, cheer the Colonials. Jam-packed weekend of Division I hockey here in Greater Pittsburgh. Head coach Paul Colontino. Thank you, Paul.